Former Vice President and Democratic candidate for President Joe Biden continues to face an allegation of sexual assault from Tara Reade, who worked for him 27 years ago in Biden's Senate office. Biden denied the allegations in television interviews over the past 2 days. Yesterday, the Associated Press published a story focused on Reade's recollection of a written report she says exists but does not possess. Alexandra Jaffe, one of the authors of that piece, joins us now from Washington, D.C. with the latest on this still developing story. A lot's happened since Joe Biden first publicly spoke about Reade's allegation and your AP report interviewing Reade. Since then, Reade has said some of the reporting in your interview isn't wholly accurate. Give us a quick tick-tock of everything that's happened since your interview came out.
Sure. When I spoke with her, I tried to get sort of her to clarify whether she filed a full report and what the report said. And she told me that she filed only an intake form. So she basically just filled out a form with some basic information about herself and her office. And within that intake form, she did not use the words sexual harassment or assault. She said that she described an incident in which she was asked to serve drinks at a fundraiser because Joe Biden liked her legs and the retaliation that she experienced after that. But she repeatedly told me that she was too scared to use the words sexual harassment and was not that specific. In the sort of days since we spoke, she's gotten a lot of backlash. A number of Biden supporters have suggested that that sort of shift in the story or clarification raises further doubts about the veracity of her claims. And so I think she's been trying to sort of clarify what she told me on Friday, but she has not necessarily walked back from the fact that she didn't use the word sexual harassment or assault.
Yeah, that's something that she is sticking to at the moment. And this isn't the first time that AP's interviewed her. You also spoke to her back in 2019. Why is this the first time we're hearing about those interviews?
The April of 2019 interviews were conducted by two reporters, one of whom was part of our investigative team trying to vet these claims back when Tara first came forward and alleged that Joe Biden sexually harassed her. That was before she came forward with the allegation of assault. And we didn't end up publishing a story on sort of that exhaustive vetting process because we simply could not corroborate her claims. The reporter that conducted those interviews then spoke with over nearly 24 former Biden staffers, none of whom sort of could corroborate these claims, none of whom remembered this happening. And Tara Reade herself could not bring forward enough sort of evidence to support her claims, so we decided not to publish it.
And what about now? Have you found anyone further that will corroborate these stories?
I can tell you I've spoken with two people who spoke to me anonymously out of concern for their family, one of whom said that Tara expressed to her about a decade after the incident that she was sexually harassed by her boss in Washington. Another woman told me that Tara did indeed tell her at the time that she was sexually assaulted by her boss in Washington. But those were sort of anonymous sources, and without any written sort of proof, it's tough to say.
What's coming out of the Biden camp? What are you hearing from them? And what about those records from the University of Delaware? Will we see them anytime soon?
I think that this has brought renewed focus on Joe Biden's papers, which remain sort of locked away at University of Delaware. He has refused to call for them to be released. The university has said they're not going to release them until 2 years after Joe Biden exits public life. In speaking with the Biden campaign, they're not weighing in on this, and that's been their sort of protocol with dealing with the Tara Reade allegations. They've largely left it up to the media to vet her claims and to report on what she's saying, and they're staying quiet and letting sort of the vice president's comments on Friday speak for themselves.
So tell me, how are Republicans in the Trump administration responding to all of the noise that's going on about this story?
Republicans have seized on this as evidence that both Democrats and the media are treating this with hypocrisy, that they have not gone after Joe Biden in the same way that they went after, Brett Kavanaugh when he was accused of sexual assault. I think that sort of line of attack is going to continue because it gets at two major arguments for Republicans. One, that Democrats aren't consistent on this question of character. That's a central sort of focus and argument for Joe Biden, that he has a stronger character than Donald Trump. And two, Republicans frequently raise doubts about the media and questions about the media's coverage, and this really gets at that question as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.